Welcome everyone. So we're going to be speaking on the Chatur sloki of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. Everybody reads the Bhagavad Gita. Not everyone's always aware of the Chatur sloki Bhagavad Gita. Woman, Yoshamaran Pani. Huh? Nigeta. Huh? What? Nimainitan. Yeah. Ayun. What?
Can I have the microphone? Wait. March, can I have the microphone?
Okay. Hare Krishna. So, Nizofani has a Nigeta. Okay, Iga. Ni Ting the Dong. Ying Wen Ting the Dong. Okay. Okay, good. All right, so we're going to speak about Chatur Sloki Bhagavad Gita, the 4 verses in the Bhagavad Gita. People read the Bhagavad Gita. Oh, just a minute, wait. I'll get it. Let's. Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. So you can see on the screen here now, this is the first verse of the Chatur sloki. Right? 4 verses in the Bhagavad Gita. And the nutshell, they're called Chatur sloki. Chatur meaning 4 verses, which are like the summary of the Bhagavad Gita. Now to read the whole Bhagavad Gita, oh, it's a big book. I remember one time I was giving out books and I gave a Bhagavad Gita. I gave and said, "What? Do you read a big book like that?" Someone was really shocked, you know. Somebody, he wasn't a devotee, you know. He was another sect. He was a Mormon actually. And he said to me, "You read such a big book?" So Bhagavad Gita is pretty big. So anyway, we have Chatur sloki, only 4 verses. You want to give the essence of the Bhagavad Gita, you can give it in 4 verses. They could just read these 4 verses. So there's the first verse, which is, wait. Okay, Lord Krishna is speaking. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So what does that tell you? Who is Krishna if he's the source of the material and the spiritual worlds? What could we say? Who is this speaking?
Krishna.
Yes, but what's he saying about himself?
Source. He is the source of all energy.
So, he is God. Thank you. Yes, the big word, God, right? He's God. He's the truth. He's the absolute. He's the source of everything. Everything comes from him. You know, it's a bold statement to make. Of course, Lord Krishna has said this a few times earlier also. In the 7th chapter, there was also another verse. Krishna said, "There is no truth superior to me." So here he's saying again the same thing. I am the source, not only of the material, but also the spiritual world. Everything emanates from me. You know, what kind of person is going to stand up and say that, you know? That's a very bold claim to make. Anyway, this is Lord Krishna. He's a very bold person. He is Bhagavan. So he is speaking this Chatur sloki for us. Chatur sloki, 4 verses. Now the Vedic literature is summarized in 3 divisions. 3 divisions, all the Vedic knowledge. They have Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana. Right? Sambandha meaning the relationship between the Lord and the living entities and the material world. So this is Sambandha Gyan. This is knowledge of the relationship. And then we'll see in the next verse how it goes into Abhidaya. Abhidaya means the process. How to use that knowledge. What will happen when you get that knowledge. So that's the 2nd verse. And then the other 2 verses are Prayojana, the result of all of that knowledge and the result of the process, the goal. Huh? What's happening?
It's glitching. It keeps glitching the laptop.
Okay. Anyway, this is the first of the Chatur sloki verses. We want to understand Lord Krishna and how, in the very beginning of this Chatur sloki, he's establishing himself as the Supreme Lord, or we could say Swayam Bhagavan, the original Godhead. Everything comes from him. And then he goes on to say, the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So the result of that knowledge, the result of knowing that Krishna is the Supreme, is that we should worship Krishna. They will engage in devotional service. And that this is Sambandha Gyan, understanding the connection between Krishna and all of us living entities. We're all his parts and parcels. So that this is how we understand the Chatur sloki, first of all. The first verse, understanding Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Everything is coming from him. Right? And then, you can see, Prabhupada quotes many authorities to establish that when Krishna said he's the Supreme, he quotes many authorities in the purport that they also accept Krishna as being Supreme. All right, then the second verse goes on to describe Abhidaya, the thoughts of my pure devotees, because they've received some knowledge from Lord Krishna that He's the Supreme Lord, everything has come from Him, and we should engage in His devotional service. So how should we do that devotional service? What should we actually do? What does it mean to do devotional service? So Lord Krishna describes here, this is Abhidaya, how to engage in devotional service. Lord Krishna is saying, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. So that's the first thing, to think about Lord Krishna in the heart, in the mind, to fix our mind on Lord Krishna. Their lives are surrendered. Oh, they are fully devoted to my service. Lord Krishna had said earlier also, engage in devotional service. They derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another and conversing about me. This is the business of devotees. This is the purpose of association. We come to associate here at this Hare Krishna convention. Our purpose is to discuss about Krishna, to enlighten one another and to converse about Krishna. This is how we practice devotional service. Coming together, hearing from Prabhupada, discussing his purports, enlightening each other, talking about Krishna. It's very enthusing. Oh, yeah. What's happening?
I think it keeps vibrating, it keeps getting disconnected, it keeps glitching.
What's the problem?
I think the fan, the wire shakes and the connection is very fragile.
Really? It's that cable then. Okay. Technical problems here. All right, we want to understand this verse, how to practice devotional service. Lord Krishna had given the knowledge in the first verse, and so the second verse is about applying that knowledge, using it in the practice of devotional service. That we understand Lord Krishna to be the source of everything, and we can discuss this. How is it Krishna is the source? How did He create this world? Did He do it just by playing on His flute? How did everything come about? And we have a lot of information, we have a lot of detailed information in our books. When we read Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a lot of information there about how the creation comes about, how Lord Krishna actually manifests this material world. It is not a very light subject matter, it's quite a heavy subject matter to understand. But that is the business of devotees. Even when Sukadeva Goswami was asked to speak about the creation, before he spoke about it, he recited many verses. First of all, praying to be empowered to describe it. But that is devotional service. The devotee likes the challenge to hear about Krishna and to speak about Krishna. And we get pleasure. The satisfaction comes in the heart. We feel that satisfaction. The other day I met some young person, they were saying to me, they say, I can't sleep at night. I wake up early in the morning. They said, I get up, even 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't sleep. I said, well, I get up every day at 3 o'clock myself. I said, I don't know, I don't think it's a big problem. I said, why are you worried about it? I said, she said, what am I supposed to do? I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what to do. Yeah. I said, well, you chant Hare Krishna, you know. I said, I get up, I chant Hare Krishna every morning. And she said, what? Hare Krishna, just sit and chant all morning? Well, it's very nice to sit and chant Hare Krishna. We take pleasure in it. We enjoy chanting Hare Krishna. And anyway, it was something new, you know, and when they heard it, you know, well, I'll think about it, I can try, maybe I can chant. Yeah. And it's quite a common situation, people not able to sleep. Okay, you're not able to sleep, good. Sleeping is like death. We don't want you to just sit and sleep, you know. That's not the goal of life, sleeping. Prabhupada was always chastising devotees. He said, you're a sannyasi, you should be like the Goswamis. They conquered over eating and sleeping. You know, a frightening thought, you know. But anyway, the Goswamis, they did like that. They conquered over eating and sleeping. So we endeavor also to conquer over these demands of the body. Certainly in Krishna consciousness, we're not interested in just eating and sleeping. We don't mind to take some prasadam and sleep. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't sleep too much, but don't sleep too little also. You have to get some sleep. You don't sleep enough, then it's a problem. Anyway, try to regulate. Prabhupada conquered over eating and sleeping. Prabhupada was very regulated. He would take rest about 10 o'clock and get up at midnight and begin translation. Our Bhagavatams were mostly written in the middle of the night. So Prabhupada could conquer over the sleeping tendency to prepare transcendental literature. So this is the business of devotional service. Devotional service is not just about eating and sleeping and mating and defending. But our devotional service has to be in relation to Lord Krishna. We have to hear, we have to chant, and we have to discuss topics of Krishna. So here in the Chatur sloki, Lord Krishna, in 4 verses, he summarized the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The first thing was knowledge. You have to know something about Krishna. We're not just blind followers. If we try to do devotional service without having a proper understanding of Lord Krishna, then it will not last very long. For some time you may do devotional service, but you won't maintain very long unless you cultivate some knowledge, some understanding about Lord Krishna. So that was the first step, that sambandha gyan, to understand Lord Krishna is the source of the material and the spiritual world. Of course, common people, they have no knowledge about a spiritual world. So that is something new in itself. Oh, there's another world beside the material world. There is also the spiritual world. Oh, yeah, there is. There are different energies. So the devotee has some understanding of these things. The material world, the 14 different levels of planets in the universe, and we're in the middle of the universe, the 7th level. Not too hellish and not too heavenly. It's the best situation for practicing devotional service. And even the demigods aspire to come on this planet in the Kali Yuga. Because although Kali Yuga is a bad time, the good thing is that simply by chanting the holy names, we can get all success. So there are merits in the Kali Yuga also. We take advantage of the Kali Yuga to perfect our Krishna consciousness. So devotee wants to understand these things. We want to be fixed in this kind of knowledge about the nature of the material world and the spiritual world. Just like the spiritual world, even somebody may be an endeavoring transcendentalist, they may think there's only the Brahman, there's only the light, there's only the oneness. That's a common understanding for people when they talk about transcendence. They think about merging, entering into the oneness. But it's not just a oneness. In the spiritual world, there's so much variety also. And there are different levels, different planets. You have so many Vaikuntha planets, the different avatars of the Lord. Each has his own planet there in Vaikuntha. And above Vaikuntha, you have Ayodhya, you have also Dwarka. You have these different realms also in the spiritual world. And above all of that is Goloka Vrindavan. And in Goloka Vrindavan, that is the supreme abode of Lord Krishna. So devotee understands the spiritual world and the material world. Devotee he has some knowledge about these things, and therefore his ambition is to enter into the spiritual world, not to come back in the material world. Material life, this material world is a miserable place, but we're thinking we're happy here. This is our illusion, right? We were reading the book, maybe you read also that little book, Coming Back, the Science of Reincarnation, right? And the last chapter in the book is called Don't Come Back, right? Don't come back. So that should be our mood. We don't want to come back. Just like if you're taking a course or you're studying and you fail, oh, you have to do the whole course again, and oh, it's such a trouble, right? So if we fail this life, if we don't go back to Godhead in this life, then we failed. We'll take birth again in the material world. Again birth, again old age, disease, death. So much trouble. So we want to avoid that trouble. So Chatur Sloki Bhagavad Gita is teaching us, understand this knowledge about Krishna. First of all, understand how Krishna is the source of everything, material and spiritual. And then secondly, how to practice, how to apply this knowledge by engaging in devotional service, right? So this is the abhidaya, this is working in the service of Lord Krishna. He's given us the knowledge, and then we have to apply it. Devote ourselves to Krishna's service. In this way we get satisfaction and bliss. We're all looking for that satisfaction and bliss. In the material world, it's very difficult to find. But in devotional service, it's very easy. When we take up and dedicate ourselves fully to devotional service, we find great satisfaction and bliss. And we can go on practicing Krishna consciousness throughout our life and feel completely satisfied. And we're seeing many examples. So go ahead. And then, then Lord Krishna then explains about how he reciprocates with the devotees. Because the second verse was saying the devotee is doing devotional service. They're applying the knowledge which Krishna gave them, and they're doing service for the Lord. So then Krishna reciprocates. Krishna is a person. You do something for someone, they will feel obliged to you. They want to do something in return. You do something to help people, people will naturally feel grateful to you and like to repay you. So here you see Lord Krishna is speaking about how he reciprocates with his devotees, right? And he's saying, to those who are constantly devoted to me and who worship me with love, then I give the understanding by which they can come to me. That was the goal, right? We don't want to come back in this world. We come back in this world, we're going away from Krishna. But if we go to the spiritual world, we will be with Krishna. So you go to be with Krishna. And Lord Krishna, he arranges it for us. He does it for us. We don't have to do it by our own efforts. Krishna says, I give them the understanding. It's not that we get the understanding, but Krishna gives us the understanding so that we can go back to Krishna. So this is the reciprocation, the loving exchange between Krishna and his devotees. Very important for us to understand the personal exchange which takes place between Lord Krishna and his devotees. Of course, we hear about this in other places in the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna, for example, he speaks about surrender, and he says, as you surrender to me, I reward you accordingly. So here, Lord Krishna is also speaking how he takes care of his devotees. But those devotees are qualified. They're constantly devoted to serving Krishna with love. Right? It's not just service, but there must be the right mood in our service. The mood of pleasing Krishna. We want to please Krishna. So that mood, Prabhupada would speak about devotional service. Not just service, but devotional service. With the right mood that we want to please Krishna. We just simply have to have that mood. And that mood naturally comes about the more we hear about Krishna. By hearing about Lord Krishna, hearing about his glories, then we naturally become more attached to him. Just like in the material world, you hear about famous people, you think more about them. So we want to be careful that we hear about Krishna. You have to hear regularly, and naturally we will develop that attachment for Krishna, and we will want to serve him. And the more we do service, the more Krishna wants to reciprocate with us. And he shows that reciprocation by helping us to come to him. Right? We're all looking for some place to go where we can find happiness, where we can find enjoyment. Lord Krishna is inviting all of us to come to him, and he can give us that ultimate pleasure and happiness. So this is the third verse of the Chatur sloki. And then the fourth verse, Lord Krishna continues to speak more about this. He says, to show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Right, we're all born in ignorance. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Buliya Jeev Anadir Bahir Mukha. Krishna Buliya Anadi means without beginning, that we've forgotten Krishna since time immemorial. This is our condition. We're in ignorance. And Lord Krishna, he is arranging, he's giving us a shining lamp of knowledge to take us out of ignorance. Prabhupada in the purport, he talks about how a person may be a member of a spiritual organization, and they may even be initiated into the practices within the society, but somehow they fail to make progress in their consciousness. This is a common situation. Many of us, we're initiated and we're active in Krishna consciousness, but somehow we're just not making much progress in Krishna consciousness. So then, when we sincerely endeavor and we're engaging in devotional activities, then Lord Krishna starts to help. As he says here, special mercy. Right? Do you want that special mercy? Yes. Right? I think most of us, we would like that special mercy. So Lord Krishna, he's ready to give us that special mercy to help us to come to the platform of devotion, to destroy the ignorance. Right? Where there is Krishna, there is no dark, there's no ignorance. Krishna Anadir, what is the best? Krishna Surya Sama Maya Haya Andhikar Yahan Krishna Tahannahi Mayaya Adhikar. Lord Krishna is saying Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like darkness. So where there is the light of the sun, there can be no darkness. And where Lord Krishna is present, then there can be no Maya, no ignorance. So we want to come to that platform of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna arranges that by his mercy. It's his special mercy on the devotee, because someone's endeavoring, they're practicing Krishna consciousness regularly, they're trying, they chant regularly, they do nice service, but somehow they're just not developing the attraction for Krishna. So then Krishna acts on the heart. Special mercy to take us out of ignorance and to give us that consciousness, that taste of pure devotion, loving devotion, that we will experience the pleasure, the ecstasy of serving Krishna. Often we're just simply doing things mechanically. We're not thinking about it. But Lord Krishna wants to help us to come to that higher stage. So, special mercy. Take away the ignorance. This is the Chatur sloki of the Bhagavad Gita. This third verse and the fourth verse are both describing prayojana, the goal of devotional service. The goal is where we have that loving exchange with Krishna. We want to serve Krishna, and Krishna wants to serve the devotees. This is a real God. You know, people often think, oh, God is somebody, we go with our order supply. I need this, I need that, give me a new job, give me a better home, give me success, let me pass the exam. So many things we have to pray to, we ask God for. That's material. But on the higher level, the devotee simply wants service to Krishna. And when we're doing service to Krishna without material desires, then Lord Krishna is pleased because he sees that mood of loving devotion. Remember, real devotion must be without material desires. Right? If we have desires, material desires, then that's not pure devotion. That is mixed with the mode of passion, or the mode of goodness, or the mode of ignorance, according to what we desire. Right? Even if we're desiring to get free of our sinful reactions, that's the mode of goodness. But pure devotion, we're engaging simply for the pleasure of Krishna. That is pure devotion. We simply want to serve Krishna. And when we have that mood, we just want to do it for the pleasure of Krishna. We're not thinking, what will I get? We don't have any requests to get from Krishna. We just simply want to do service for Krishna. Then Krishna reciprocates and he gives us special mercy. You can experience the awakening, transcendental knowledge, loving service to Krishna. So in this way, these 4 verses of the Bhagavad Gita describe the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. The knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, with the material world, with the material energy and the living entities. And then the second verse was describing the process of devotional service. How we practice, how we engage ourselves in the service of Krishna. And then the third and fourth verse are describing how Lord Krishna reciprocates with the devotee. How he opens that love which is there. We have the ability to love, but we give that love to so many material things. We love our car, we love our dog, this and that. We have to learn to give love to Krishna. And that love to Krishna, that is the real perfection of devotional service. And Lord Krishna can give that by his mercy. So in this way, Lord Krishna has presented Chatur sloki, the nutshell verses. Now you want to be able to use these verses in presenting Krishna consciousness to people. It's important. We have to present the Bhagavad Gita. We want to get people attracted to devotional service. How to get them interested? I think one of the best ways to get people interested in Krishna consciousness is to tell them about how merciful Lord Krishna is and how he reciprocates, how he wants to give himself to his devotees, how he helps people to overcome all the obstacles of material life and take shelter at his lotus feet. So we have to present Krishna consciousness in this Kali Yuga. People are very materialistic, they're very much in ignorance. How to do it? We need Krishna's mercy also. We want to give Krishna to someone, we have to get Krishna's mercy. Krishna's in the heart of every living entity. So every materialistic person, he's also a part of Krishna. Krishna's in their heart. They can also become Krishna conscious, not by our efforts, but by the mercy of Krishna. And our job is to be the instrument in the service of Krishna, to try to give that Krishna consciousness to them. So sometimes it's good, take the Bhagavad Gita and present it to them, open it to this verse and show them this verse. You can let them read this text number 11, 10th chapter. 10, 11, yeah? To show special mercy. Lord Krishna is a very merciful person to his devotees, right? You want to get the mercy, you have to be a devotee. He gives the mercy to the devotees. Because the devotees, they deserve it. They want to get Krishna's mercy. Other people, they may not want. Of course, Krishna gave mercy to Putana. Putana didn't come there looking for mercy. She came there looking to kill Krishna. But Krishna was so kind, he gave her mercy. He delivered her to the spiritual world. So certainly, who can be more merciful than Lord Krishna? People think, oh no, Lord Shiva is easily pleased, but Lord Shiva is also easily angered. We don't hear about Lord Krishna being easily angered. We hear special mercy, how he's very kind and merciful to his devotees. Okay, so these are the 4 slokas, Chatur sloki, and we encourage you, try to present this, the essence of the Bhagavad Gita to people. Tell them about Lord Krishna's reciprocation with his devotees. All right? So we'll stop and ask if there's some questions. Any questions there? Any comments?
I'm just wondering, on the application level, how do we know that this verse 10 and 11 is actually happening? Like how can we even identify it is happening?
Yes. How do we understand it's actually happening, that we're really getting the mercy of Krishna? Well, we have to understand that everything is the mercy of Krishna, but it's coming in different ways. Krishna said, first of all, text number 10, to those who are constantly devoted to me, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So that's one way in which you can understand you're getting the mercy, that we're coming to Krishna. If you're moving towards Krishna, if you're coming to an awakening of knowledge, it means Krishna's acting, Krishna's giving you mercy. It's not anybody else. It's not happening any other way. It's not because of our piety, It's not because of our austerity, because of our charity or anything. It's Krishna's mercy. We're getting, that's the only way in which we can come to Krishna. So you're becoming more Krishna conscious. We're losing our taste for material life. We're not interested in watching any more Tamil movies. We want to read Srimad Bhagavatam, right? We'd rather have the Srimad Bhagavatam than the Tamil movie. That's a sign Krishna's getting to you. He's giving you, He's making it easier for you to come to Him. You're losing the attraction for the mundane and you're becoming more eager for the transcendence. So, it's nothing to do with anybody else. It's Krishna who's doing it. He is the person behind everything. We say, Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme Controller, right? The Sarva Karana Karanam, the cause of all causes. So, why did this happen to me? Krishna did it. It's Krishna's mercy. So we have to have that understanding. Yes, Madhuri? Please. Do we have a microphone? Yeah?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I just want a clarification. Normally when I present the Gita or Krishna consciousness to new people, I usually talk about the soul, that aspect of the Gita. But today is an enlightenment that you are saying that we should present these Chatur slokas first. So I'm not sure, I need some clarification on that. Thank you.
But we have to consider what level everyone is on. For some people, they have no awareness whatsoever, completely in darkness. So yeah, you may have to first talk about the soul. But here, we're presenting knowledge about Krishna, and Krishna, how He's a person and He reciprocates. So, for people who have a higher understanding, that they understand that there is God. If people don't understand God, don't believe in God, then you have to first talk other things. If someone's an atheist, then first you have to speak about the soul. Very materialistic people, they're not yet ready to hear that. So you have to speak about the soul. Yes, right. Common, materialistic, atheistic people, they need to understand the body and the soul. We teach about the soul. But as you meet people who are a little more enlightened, understand that there is some God, there is a person behind the creation, there is some supreme being within the existence, and I'm not the center of the universe. Copernicus called, Copernicus called and said, I'm not the center of the universe. Oh, okay. So that's a way of understanding. Some materialistic people, they cannot understand these things, but somebody who understands that, yes, there is such a thing as God, I believe in God, and sometimes I even pray, sometimes I may go to church, I may go to temple or mosque or whatever. So I have some belief in that there is a person, a superior being behind the world. So then you can speak about the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And of course there's many Hindu gods. You have a lot of temples here in this country and different gods. So which one is supreme? So Bhagavad Gita is explaining which one is supreme. Lord Krishna is saying, He's the source. He's everything. So it's for on a higher level, yes, you're right. And some people are very much in the bodily concept of life, then we would want to explain about the body and the soul. Before they can understand Krishna, they first of all have to understand who they are, right? They have to understand we're not the body, we are souls. And then once they understand they're a soul, then we can go on and talk about the Supreme Soul. So a higher level of presentation. You know, there's the primary study and the secondary school and then the graduate school. So for people who are a little more enlightened, we explain the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. But not for the atheist or the materialist. They won't be able to appreciate that. Thank you for bringing that point up. Yes, Prabhu?
The audience Maharaj, okay, but one question. I feel it's not towards me. I'm facing some situations whereby you see, like just now, I stated that to one who is constantly devoted to me, I give the understanding by which you come to me. Correct? So it will be easier if it's one-to-one in our daily prayers. But in our altar, we usually have all the incarnations, like Narsimha Bhagavan, okay, then Gauranitai, Radha Krishna, and so on. So here, the focus is not there. For instance, when you're doing daily prayers, if Narsimha Bhagavan, then you're communicating with him one-to-one. So there is a focus there. And then we feel what we are asking for, the enlightenment, in order to progress in spiritual life. So it comes easy. But then when you're focusing on, say, Jagannath, okay, you're attracted more to Jagannath. And then we are asking, you're communicating with Jagannath, okay, for our devotional service. Then when we look at Gauranitai and then Narsimha Bhagavan, then we are some sort of diluted in our focus, then how to address them. So this is the problems I am facing. I hope Maharaj understands my question.
Oh, very much. I understand your question. Yes, no problem. You see, that problem certainly comes up a lot because you have so many deities. You want to bring so many deities, keep your altar simple. You're better just to worship Gauranitai. They're very merciful. But you bring in all the other different deities and then you get confused. And you people even come to think all the gods are one. And you bring in Ganesh and you bring in others as well, and that's what happens. And you get the common hodgepodge Hindu god. There's so many different gods, and which one is the supreme? They're all the supreme, they're all one. So that's a problem, you start to think like that. So we have to be careful. So when we do pray, we do, generally people who have their Istadeva. Your Istadevata, and you should have one particular deity which you're particularly attracted to and which you pray to and which you focus on. And just like here in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is saying, I. He's not saying, oh, everybody, but he says, I showed special mercy. So Lord Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita, you can think of him. You want to worship Radha and Krishna, you can do that also. Radha and Krishna, Radha is the extended form of Lord Krishna, what we say, the pleasure potency of Lord Krishna. So Chaitanya and Nityananda, Lord Balarama comes as the servant, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We have to have the service mode to Lord Chaitanya. Like Lord Nityananda also serves Lord Chaitanya. Lord Nrsimhadev, again, has a special devotion. You want to worship Lord Nrsimhadev, we keep Lord Nrsimhadev usually separate on the altar. You see in my program a separate altar for Lord Nrsimhadev. We separate the worship because you don't want to mix all the different moods together. We keep the different deities apart. Radha Madhava and Astasati are on one altar and Panchatattva's on another altar. You see, so it's not all one, they're not all together. But which particular mood, which deity you're aspiring to, you're into, then you focus yourself in that way. And when you chant Panchatattva mantra brings us to worship Radha and Krishna. By chanting the Panchatattva mantra first, then we come to chant Hare Krishna mantra. So we worship Panchatattva, get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. By His mercy, we can go off and worship Radha Madhava. So there's a connection there, there's a link there, bringing us to the worship of Radha Krishna. You like to just be with Lord Chaitanya, you can just stay there. There's no harm. If somebody likes to be with Lord Nrsimhadev, alright, then worship Lord Nrsimhadev. Different devotees have different modes. It was in Chaitanya Lila, the devotee of Lord Ramachandra, what was his name again? The one who... Murari Gupta, thank you. Murari Gupta. He was the great devotee of Lord Ramachandra. And Lord Chaitanya was standing in one day, Murari, why are you worshipping Radha and why are you worshipping Sita Rama? Radha and Krishna are the Supreme Lord. You should worship Radha and Krishna. Give up the worship of Sita Rama. And Murari went home that night. And the next day he came to Lord Chaitanya and he fell at Lord Chaitanya's feet and he said, I will have to give up my life. You have asked me to give up the worship of Sita and Rama and I cannot do it. My heart will not allow me to give up their worship. So and you have asked me to do it. I cannot follow your order. So I will have to give up my life. But Lord Chaitanya then told him, he said, no, it's alright. He said, you are the Guru of Hanuman, so you can continue to worship Sita and Rama. You don't have to give up your life. So, according to the mood of the devotee, you can remain worshipping that deity. At the same time, you offer respects to all the other deities. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he traveled in India, he was around South India, he went to many Shivite temples and he offered his respects there. He went to Meenakshi, he offered his respects there. Different temples, devas and goddesses, Mahaprabhu would always respect them. But you know they're not the Supreme Lord. That's different. We offer respect, but we don't worship them. So here, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is explaining, He is the Supreme. That is brought out here. We want to understand Lord Krishna, His position. So we have a very special mood in approaching Lord Krishna. It's not like approaching any other God. He is the Supreme Lord. He's the source of everything. And He knows everything. He's in everyone's heart. And we have to tell Him what's in our heart. We want to reveal our heart. So we don't need to get confused about all the gods. But we do need to respect them all. Yeah. Which particular deity you're devoted to, that's up to you. But you don't devote yourself to Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, you devote yourself to Lord Krishna. Because Lord Krishna are his different avatars. They are his supreme. You like to worship Sitaram? No problem. We have also Sitaram here. You want to worship Gornikai? They're very merciful. Prabhupada said Gornikai can be worshipped just simply by sankirtan. You don't even have to make offerings and pujas, harapra pujas. You just do kirtan and Gornikai will be. So I know His Holiness Subhak Swami, if he has some disciple who has several deities at home, when he accepts him as his disciples, he will tell them, get rid of all of these deities and just keep going time. He doesn't, he won't approve his disciples keeping even Jagannath and Radha. He'll just worship one time, very easy to worship. Okay, yes. Yes, at the back. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for your wonderful question. How do we ask Krishna for special mercy to non-devotees acting in the mode of goodness and passion?
How do we ask Krishna for special mercy? Well, we're not supposed to ask. That's the point. Krishna gives the mercy. They don't want the mercy, give me the mercy. No, that's not the idea. The idea is Krishna will give the mercy, but not us asking. What we have to do is service. Just do service to Krishna. And that way, you get the mercy. Krishna will give you the mercy. We make that mistake. Oh, Krishna, give me the mercy. And the mercy figures, you know. Oh, I need the mercy. That's not the word. Do service. Engage in, take up some service, do some activities. Chant, preach. By doing service, then Krishna will give you mercy. Okay? And we have a question asked at the back. Have you got a microphone there?
Hi, Krishna. I'm from China. My English is not so good. I hope I can speak my impression good. And I know Krishna from 2024. And the first time when I read the one, I cannot stop to read this book. And until now, I still learning. But my question is, as for my I think Pokemon is a book for storybook, but all the other book I read from my past life is, I think, for the real world knowledge. Now my question is, if I stay in the storybook, and how I come back to the real world when I go to work? Because every day when you go back to work, you will have a lot of things. It's keep you all the time, it's busy, and we don't know, and you have all the motion. Okay, this is the first question, how the balance of the story of the real world. And the second is, and when I'm working in the real world, have a lot of things to push you to do. And I don't know when is the Krishna's mercy for me to make the choice.
Okay, so the first question anyway, how to balance between the soul world and the bodily world. In other words,
how to balance between spiritual consciousness and material consciousness. Yes, well, what we have to do is that we have a morning program. And we do what is called sadhana bhakti. So every morning, like here in the temple in the morning, we have a party, and then tulsi puja, then chant japa, and then discussion of Bhagavatam. So you have to do these activities in the morning before you start the material life, before you go out there to work. You first of all start with some spiritual activities in the day. And that will give you the strength to go out into the material world and to work in your job, right? So you have a job, you have to go to work, and you're working with people who are not devotees, who are materialistic people. So you have to protect yourself. And the way you protect yourself is by having that spiritual program every morning. You're not living in the temple, so you don't have a temple. So you have to do these things on your own, in your home. And you have to wake up a little earlier and chant and do worship Krishna. Read a little bit more from Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, and in this way you will get spiritual strength. Just like if you're a doctor, and if you're having to fight a lot of disease, if there's a big epidemic, then the doctor has to make sure he protects himself, that he does not get infected. Just like COVID time, everybody's wearing a mask, and so many different things. Some people are even taking vaccines and everything. They want to protect themselves. So you have to protect yourself from the material energy. And you do it by having a morning program, every morning chanting, reading, and hearing about Krishna, cooking for Krishna, offering your food to Krishna, eating the prasadam. This will give you protection, and this will help you to balance in the material world. That you can go out into the material world and not be affected by the material energy. You see, so that's how you balance the material world with the spiritual world.
I do this in the morning, and when we go back to work, like before 10 o'clock, I will stay at home, I do Krishna, I do the book. I'm not sleep now, now I do like 6 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and I come back to work. But it seems to me, if I stay in Krishna world, it's not the real world. I cannot leave the real world.
Cannot live the real world. The real world means
work, but if you work, but you get to do that online.
you don't have to live in the material world, but you have to be in the world, but not be affected by it. You just like the example is given about a lotus flower. The lotus flower is on the water, but it never gets covered by the water. It sits always on the water. So you're in the material world, but you're not caught up in the material world. If you are Krishna conscious, if you cultivate your consciousness properly, you won't be caught up. You won't forget Krishna. Even though you're working, you're having a job, you're doing so many material things, but you won't remember Krishna.
Something is, we want to have the Krishna consciousness, but at the beginning you are so confused. So that means when we were doing the work, we have a lot of decisions we need to make, like do this, do that. My second question is, I don't know which choice is not Krishna.
Which one what?
And that means when I'm working, everything, we have a project, we have a lot of things. We need to make a choice for something. Okay, like we have one project to do this, one project to do that. And I don't know which one because I know if we have Christian mercy, we can be in Christian conscience. But I don't know what is how can I clean my mind for Christian conscience during I'm working to make a choice, to make a decision.
You have to prepare yourself. Every day you have to chant Hare Krishna. In the morning, you chant your vows, and Krishna will give you strength. Krishna's in your heart, and He will give you spiritual strength to make the right decisions. Krishna will guide you. Krishna says, I'm in the heart of everyone, and from me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So when you genuinely desire to remember Krishna, Krishna will help you. And Krishna will give you the right decisions to tell you what to do. You have to take shelter of Krishna. He's in the heart, He's telling you, so you have to hear from Him. How do you hear from Him? Krishna's process. First of all, you have to surrender, right? Why surrender? Surrender means chanting, praying Krishna with prasadam. This way your consciousness will become purified and Krishna will give you all the directions.
That means if I have Krishna consciousness, if I learn more, all my decision is come from Krishna, no matter bad or good. Thanks. Hare Krishna.
My question is quite similar with yours, because from this verse, Machikara Prana, so it says that we should meditate and remember Krishna, for those who remember Krishna all the time. So I'm thinking like, yes, Arjuna asked this question, and then Krishna answers in the same chapter that how do I remember you, Krishna? And Krishna says that I'm the sun, I'm the moon, I'm Japa, I'm Om, and the animals, and I'm the lion amongst the beasts. So yeah, so my understanding is when we are outside, we can probably try to remember Krishna in all of this and we see this. But when we are working, so when I'm engrossed in work and we come across problems in work, how do we remember Krishna? So how do we practice this Machikara Prana? Is this something that I have to wait until I retire or?
No, you don't have to wait till you retire. But the fact is, we practice remembering Krishna every morning. We chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And the remembrance of Krishna are there in the heart. Not certainly Arjuna is fighting the battle. Now how is Arjuna going about fighting the battle? Yeah, he's fighting, he has to use the skills of Kshatriya, he has to fire his weapons, different astras. But at the same time, you're Krishna. So, yeah, you have to do your duty, and at the same time, we surrender to Krishna. So, perform your duty, don't be attached to the results. Remember, we're working for Krishna. Do everything for Krishna. So if we have that mood that I'm working for Krishna, that is success. You don't have to, I have to be chanting all the time. No, you have to do your different duties, do your prescribed duty, right? Perform your prescribed duty, come on, your qualifications to work. You have to do that work. But the fruit is Krishna. Never be attached to
never be attached to not performing your duty, and never consider yourself to be the cause of the results. So the more the consciousness is truly right. I'm working for Krishna, but offering the results to Krishna. So that is remembrance of Krishna. You have to do Krishna. That is perfection. By performing Krishna duty, that is perfection now. It's pleasing to Krishna. Krishna didn't appreciate people give up their duties. Mahaprabhu didn't appreciate people giving up their duty. Gadadhar wanted to go with Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is going to go to South India, and Gadadhar wanted to go with him. But Mahaprabhu told him, he said, no, and you made a vow to stay in Puri, and I've given you that Gadadhar. Gopinath, I put you Gopinath to worship. How you can give up the worship? Lord Chaitanya just asked him. Lord Chaitanya wanted people to be steady on their service, not to give up their duties, not to be sentimental, not to work. That is remembering Krishna. Okay. Any other final question? Yes?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, all the preachers appeared in the world, we consider Srila Prabhupada is Jagat Guru. We say Srila Prabhupada is the only Guru who preach about Atma Tattva, whereas other Gurus from other religions, they preach about only concept. Is it correct answer for that? Only Prabhupada says about Atma Tattva, others all only concept.
Well, what do they mean by other gurus?
Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, other religions of all. Never talk about Atma Tattva. Only Prabhupada, Krishna, that is the real Krishna. So we call him every soul is every Atma. So if you setting for that Atma, so he appears to the Guru. He comes to the Guru. Is it correct?
Well, yeah, to some extent, and to some degree, this is true. The Srila Prabhupada, not only Srila Prabhupada, but also the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, all the acharyas in the mind, they're all preaching in a similar way. They're preaching Atma Tattva. Outside of the Sampradaya, Mayavadis are also preaching Atma Tattva. The Mayavadis are preaching Atma Tattva, but they're not preaching Bhakti Yoga. They're not even if they may be speaking about Bhakti Yoga, they're speaking about it in the Mayavadi way. Their goal is merging. So you have to be careful about making claims about everything. But certainly, we value Srila Prabhupada's preaching because he's our founder acharya for this life, for our society, for Islam society. So we certainly value Srila Prabhupada's preaching. Sometimes other people, some Gaudiya Vaishnava, some Gaudiya saying that Prabhupada preaches Atma Tattva, I'm speaking Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is something higher than Atma Tattva. And so that they're speaking something higher than what Prabhupada is speaking. But Prabhupada was not denying these things. And Prabhupada also spoke things about them also. So, we just have to be a little careful about making claims and putting other people down. Secondly, Lord Jesus Christ, Prabhupada is Lord Jesus Christ take credit. There's a purport there in Srimad Bhagavatam where Prabhupada speaks about Lord Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad. He said that they both did good
to uplift civilization, to uplift humanity in different parts of the world, in different times, by their teaching. And so, Sri Prabhupada gives credit to them also. There was another time Prabhupada was in the monastery in Australia, and they told Prabhupada about one Saint Francis. And Saint Francis of Assisi, quite a famous mystical saint in the coming from Lord Jesus, Saint Francis. And he used to speak to the plants and the flowers and the trees, and he addressed them as sister and brother. And when Prabhupada heard that, Prabhupada said, oh, that is real God consciousness. He was saying, brother tree, sister flower, and Prabhupada acknowledged that this is real God consciousness. So we can't just say, only Prabhupada is unique in presenting Antamaya, but it was certainly there in other people also. But Prabhupada said before the modern civilization, he spoke very strongly and very clearly about it. Okay? Alright, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Jai Guru. So please do any empty water bottle.